Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had 2 fingers hanging out. And
I flipped him over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, it shows you flipping him in different positions, and him saying that he can't breathe, and you saying...
This is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it...
It was flipped up.
Right. It was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep.
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
But not intentional.
No, you told me you went upstairs because you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
And his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you, I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other video.
I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end it sounds kind of like a...
No, it's not malicious.
Well, same.
It's not malicious.
Then what is that?
What does you mean to you?
Well...
Like if I were to tell my
like
partner...
he does. Like, I get called everything but a white woman, so...
Okay.
My intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself out, but the video shows at no point can I see his fingers.
He'll be up here any minute.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
And he's telling you
he
can't
didn't wake
breathe.
up.
Do you think
not
he's
able to get
joking? You told me he was laughing, and
We were before.
The video, there's no
when we
laughing.
first got in there?
Oof. Wow, that's... wow. All right, Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, let me give you 3 poor choices of words. Number 1, you're killing me. Look, you're in there for murder. You're killing me is a bad choice of words because it's a tether. I can quickly say, well, let's talk about you and this. So there's an opportunity. My plan. Okay, you just said, look, this happened by accident. You didn't say accident. But if you're trying to get away with something and say it was an accident, my plan or bad choice of words. Now, whether she's conscious enough to realize that or not, that's why I say I don't think she's conscious of this. I think she doesn't realize what kind of trouble she's in, and she's just feeding into this. She also finishes a thought when the woman brings up, I think it was not malicious. That sure puts you in a bad place. So poor choice of words from the beginning, and they don't use elicitation there. Well, what do you think killing is? They have a flawed plan because they're not listening. They're there to argue and not interrogate. If you're listening, it would change your path. Look, I hate beating these guys up because you're right. They don't get enough training. I will, Mark, have to add to your comedy for just a minute and say, if you're Chris Noth, you have to wear Chris Noth clothes. And if you don't know who Chris Noth is, go look at all the cop shows. And he dresses all kinds of wild ways. This guy looks a lot like him, and maybe that's why he's dressing the part. They're here to argue, not interrogate. She leans into the evidence. I love it. She leans over to look at the evidence, and they don't lean on her then. She uses that my plan. That's a push-pull word. Anytime you use something like my plan, I thought there was no plan. Then's when I go, why did you leave a hole? Why'd you leave a hole? Because you needed air? Then why'd you go upstairs? You can't have both of those. They're not congruent. So you put her at odds with self, and then you go back after it. It's not intentional. Not intentional. Sounds like a guilty person saying it was on accident. She's prayerful when she says, what do you want me to do? She does that little chipmunk thing again, or hamster thing. And then she finishes the person's thoughts about malice. That doesn't sound good. These guys could have leaned in there and said, hold on, Sarah, I wasn't going to say malicious. Let's talk about that word. What does that mean to you? That's the way you get a person to start telling you something about what's going on. And then he does get it. He almost gets it. He goes in and he says something to her that causes her to say, like he does me, when he says, what does FU mean? Like he does me, but they miss it. Again, they push and disparage her instead of going after it. If this is Reed, where's the narrative? If this is Sharp, where's the approach? So we got to have somewhere in there we start to figure this out. If you pay attention, there's a really great indicator that I think Reed would be powerful. When this female detective starts to rationalize what happened, watch the body language of her open up. It's powerful. It tells you that she's susceptible. But then she goes right back to the argument and says, but the video shows, and you see the body language shift. Really hard for me to watch. Scott, what do you got?
I think even with training, I think these two are burnt out or just don't want to be there. And we're going to see some examples later on that would prove my theory there. I don't think any kind of structure would help them. I think they need to get rid of them and start all over again. He's sitting back in his chair running his own game. He's doing something else. They're asking two different questions almost at the same time. And when she says, I don't know what you want me to tell you, one of them should have said, look, I want to tell me why you did this. And just everybody hush. And then go on to, well, tell me why. There's no questioning. There's nobody in charge. There's nobody's leading. It's just bouncing around the room. And then I think the guy detective is the most uncomfortable interrogator I've ever seen in my life. He can't sit still, can't keep his fingers out of his nose. He can't stop scooching around, squishing around. It just looks like something's wrong. It looks like he's the guilty one when we're looking at it from this point of view. And when she says, my plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep, they say, but that's what you did. Come on, man. There's, a lot, even on TV shows, they know where to go after that. But they don't. They're not even following their TV show and movie structure. There's no structure here whatsoever. Her body language is pretty much the same as it has been. Like you were saying, Greg, she's doing the same thing. She's got her baseline, her basic setups that she does and uses to get rid of her stress and built up tension. And the protective things, everything seems the same. But this interrogation is not an interrogation. It's just a fuss. Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. This would have been a great opportunity because in this audio or in this video, there's a thing like she says, you choked me. I would be on that. And I would say, well, I know you don't want to listen to it. And I'm sorry. We don't have to do that right now. We're going to have to, but I wanted to ask you about one thing in there when it said he was choking you. And that happened to my sister. And it's disgusting. And I wanted to ask you if that is a true statement or you made that up. So now we can get clarity there. And now we're starting to project. And which right after this rationalization, we've shown that she's susceptible to that. Boom, project. I'm going to leave the rest of it alone. This video, if you watch this video again, which you're going to right after I finish talking here, this is as if you interviewed Dwight Schrute from Dunder Mifflin. That's the character we're seeing across the table there. That's all I got.
All right.
I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark, you can have a turn this time.
Yeah, let me jump in. Look, here would be my structure, okay? Watch and listen, watch and listen, watch and listen, and ask questions out of curiosity. And there's this moment right up the front where she retreats right back. It's a big movement from her baseline of being subdued by gravity. She goes right back and she says, I don't want to watch it, please. I don't want to watch it, please. Well, my question, having seen that and heard what she said, my question out of curiosity would be, what most causes you not want to watch this? I mean, it's just a curious question. Maybe it'll get me somewhere, maybe it'll get me nowhere, but it isn't arguing with her. And just as everybody else has said, they are just arguing with her. They're literally putting forward what they have as evidence, good evidence, yeah? And then she's responding, and then they're arguing with her response. And so everyone's getting frustrated, as far as I can see. Everybody's getting frustrated. They talk over each other. They all talk over each other. She ends up standing up and helping out. At that point, I would go, she's in control now. It's like, I'm almost on her side going, take it. Take this one. Why not? Why not take this one? Like, you got this one now. He's there. He's exhaling. It's clear indicators of his frustration or boredom, or I think both, upset with it. The female interviewer is mirroring and escalating her tone. So not only is it argumentative, but she's taking the same tone as the subject, and then they're escalating each other, and the male just continues to get kind of irritated and restless. And just as you were saying right up the front, Scott, right here is my last note. I've got, who is in control here? Who's in control here? Like, nobody's in control apart from the subject, I think, who is in the most control there, but then kind of gives it up because I don't think she quite knows how to take control of this moment. I would. I think I'd have said, well, I'll be going now, and give me a call when you've sorted out your tech and stuff and you got your shit together. I'd have been out of there.
Wow, Mark cusses. Wow, that's a first.
It's that bad. It's that
2.5 years, and there it is. Wow, unbelievable. All right, if you don't know who we are, we're the Behavior Panel, and I'm Scott Rouse. I'm a body language expert and analyst, and I train law enforcement in the military in interrogation and body language. And I created the #1 online body language course, Body Language Tactics, with Greg Hartley. Mark?
I'm Mark Bowden. I'm an expert in human behavior and body language, help people all over the world to stand out, win trust, and gain credibility every time they communicate, including some of the leaders of the G7. Chase.
Hey, I'm Chase Hughes. I did 20 years in the U.S. military, wrote the #1 best-selling book on behavior profiling, persuasion, and influence, and I change people's lives teaching those things today. Greg
Hartley. I'm a former Army interrogator, interrogation instructor, resistance to interrogation instructor. I've written 10 books on body language and behavior, and put together that #1 body language course at bodylanguagetactics.com with Scott Rouse.
Mark said shit.
Yeah, this is some of the worst I've ever seen. You know what I wonder? Do they think this video is enough? They don't need her to say anything.
I thought about that too. And I thought maybe they're going for exactly maybe they're trying to go for the "I did it on purpose" thing, but they can't because they have a goal, but they don't know how to get there. No, it's just a show.
There's not enough conspiracy between them. There's not enough. They're not breathing together. They're not a partnership. They're all over the shop. I mean, if you and I if any of us went, hey, let's go in, but let's really mess this one up, we'd be doing it together. We'd be like, exactly, a great performance of like, it would be the greatest ever, failure of a computer, that would cause a reaction. Like, this is just it's a show.
They just don't know what. Look, I can tell they don't know what they're doing. That part's very clear because they don't know anything about the psychology part of it, any approaches, no structure to the interrogation, no questioning.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase. He had 2 fingers hanging out. And
I flipped him over. And that's where it was.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, it shows you flipping him in different positions and him saying that he can't breathe and you saying...
This is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it...
It was flipped up.
Right. It was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep.
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
But not intentional.
No, you told me you went upstairs because you were getting ready for bed.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
where's here?
Show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
And his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, Rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you, I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other video.
I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end it sounds kind of like a...
No, it's not malicious.
Well, same.
It's not malicious.
Then what is that?
What does you mean to you?
Well...
Like if I were to tell my
like
partner...
he does. Like, I get called everything but a white woman, so...
Okay.
My intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself out, but the video shows at no point can I see his fingers.
He'll be up here any minute.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
And he's telling you
and I
he
didn't
can't
wake
breathe.
up.
Do you think
not
he's
able to get
joking? You told me he was laughing, and
we were before.
The video, there's no laughing.
When we first got in there.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.